Hi, my friend. I am so happy to see you on Friday. Yes, it is Friday. And we talk about a few things on Friday. And this Friday, we have even more fun stuff, including bring home the Christmas tree. I've got a free pattern on the website today, which I'm doing with Fat Quarter Shop using 2.5-inch squares, a little mini charm packs. Let's see what else. Oh, I'm going to show you that thread braid again because I had some questions from yesterday's video, so I'm going to clear that up or show you. Today is a tidy up Friday, because if we have new things starting, it's getting here towards the end of the month, we have new things will be starting, so it is time to be sure that your area is super tidy. That is your challenge for today, and I can't wait. I can't tell you how much I can't wait until I can lift things and put things and do things. Just move them myself, because it's like I want to get my fabric down. Okay, anyways, enough of that. Let's get on to bring home the Christmas tree, which is in this book, this one, the Vintage Christmas book, which has about 8 million projects in it, at least 8 million. Usually I say 800, but this book is so full you could probably sew projects for 5 years from just this one book, although you might want more variety than that. But it has got a lot of fun stuff. And we are doing the Bring Home the Christmas Tree. So let's take a look. And on my website, which is the link is below to my blog, and if you've signed up for my emails, the email comes out around 5 p.m. in the evening, not right now. But you can go over to blog.patsloan.com and you can get my tips, but I'm going to tell you here too. Okay, so we are going to approach this in the writing part, this because I am approaching how I'm going to share it in rows. What the cool thing is, let's come down and look at the book. The quilt is actually just made up of basically two blocks. So also, if you want to do the cross stitch, I have a link to it. There is a cross stitch pattern for Bring Home the Tree, which I think is super darling. So if you'd rather just do that and make it into a pillow or frame it like this and hang it, that is so cute. Okay, so the quilt is basically two blocks. It's the tree block and the car block. Okay, so those are the two blocks, which makes it really easy because the directions are written so that it is one block. That way it is easy for us to do a whole row. I love that because that is how I'm motivated to work on a quilt like this. So let me just say, I told you a couple ways that people might approach this. You could sew it row by row. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3. There's just 4 rows to make this quilt. Yes, only 4. And lots of trees. But I wanted, you could do it row by row, meaning you just do those blocks that week and then you don't, cut or sew for anything else. Some people like to do it by item, like they might want to do all the trees. So you have the tree block, so you have this tree block. You could just make all the tree blocks that are needed, and it might take you 2 weeks to do that, and then you might do the next 2 weeks, do all the car blocks. And that would be how you would break it up so that you do it. Of course, there's going to be the person who just sews everything at once. They just like make it all and it's done. But there's another way you could approach it, is that some of you really enjoy cutting everything at once. And then you like to sit down and just sew so that you would have all the parts cut. And so that's basically a third way to do it. So either by row, by block, or by cutting and then sewing. And they all take a different kind of organization. I'm the kind that, because I like to do it by the row, like I can just cut for one block and then sew it. Cut the next block, sew it. Cut the next block, sew it. That's how I do most of my work. So this is really set up beautifully for that. So this week we would have 2 tree blocks and 1 house block. And you'll note all the cars are all driving the same direction. So that's how the pattern is set up. The tree blocks are identical on either side. So, but you could just switch them if you wanted the little ones, to be inside. You could just flip those around. It's just just switch them. If you wanted to make them like this, big to small, you could do it like that. You know, so you could play around and make yours a little bit more personal if you like. I think it'd be fun to have one car going the other way with no tree on it yet. Don't you think that'd be cute? But you'd have to mentally reverse the block, you know. You'd have to do a little drafting to do that. But I think it would be super cute to have one car going the other way and he doesn't have a tree yet. Everybody else picked up their tree. So there's a couple other things I want to tell you that are also on the website. Is that here I've got, let me show you the table runner. On the tree blocks themselves, the top tree is a flying geese. So that's a flying geese unit. But all the rest of the trees have blunt tops. See, they're not points, they're not pointed. So that it makes it look more tree-like rather than just stacked triangles. I love that concept. It's also more forgiving, so you only have to make so many, you know, of them with the pointy top. And just follow the diagram. It's really traditional sew and flip. So it's not that hard. The other thing, which I also mentioned on the website, so you don't have to write it down, whoops, is that on the car, you'll see that for mine, all of the tires, all of the inside the tires, and all of the windows for all of the cars are the same fabric. Now this particular one, my tires are a different fabric because I did this is not from the kit. These are all done with the kit fabric. So, you know, there wasn't any left to do another car. But that's, if you felt like, well, you started cutting the windows, maybe you just cut all 5 car windows, because there's 2, 4, 6. There's 6 cars. So maybe you cut all 6 car windows for the 4 rows. And also, if you've forgotten, it's a friendly reminder that the original supply list needs another fat quarter of green for the trees. So if somehow you missed that, you didn't see the note, you'll need to be sure that, you know, or I don't think you can get all that you need out of what was written on that supply list from the fat quarter shop. So they you know, told me that you need another fat quarter of green. So that's good. You just mix it up. The greens are all mixed up. They're all pretty much, because they came from this one fabric line, they're all pretty much the same shade of green. You know, they're here. You know, they're not like light greens and dark greens. They're pretty much all like the same green, just with different prints. You know, ginghams and jingle bells and reindeer on them. So that is something, if your trees, you might shade them dark to light. You know, then maybe you have different shades of green that you're working with. Alrighty. So that is our tree. Yay! Our tree, our sew along for Bring Home the Christmas Tree. I know it's only the end of August, but isn't it fun to think about Christmas? I think so. I think this is just going to be so awesome, and the car is just so delightful. I mean, we had a station wagon, Greg and I had a station wagon, and I have now, I mean, they call them, what do you call them, SUVs or something, but they look like station wagons to me. Okay, we also have, the Fat Quarter Shop asked me if I would sew along, which meant when I said yes, I had not broken both my wrists yet. So my buddy Jerry, who also did the one of the earlier projects for me a while back, she also did this one. This is the mini muffins. I'm going to pull back here. It's also on my website today with the Fat Quarter Shop. It's a free pattern that uses the 2.5-inch square charm packs, like the little mini charm packs, which basically, if you have a regular charm pack, you can cut it in 4. But this is a mini charm pack, and I use my friend Joanna's Hallows Eve fabric, which is fall-like. It's not really a Halloween fabric. I love that it's a fall fabric. It's oranges and blacks and grays. So here, let me just get you up close to see. There, and then Jerry quilted it for me too. Can you believe that? And did the binding. She is a blessing. My friends have been so awesome to help me out like this. But she did double wave line, triple wave lines. Like there's 3 wave lines this way, and there's a close-up of it on my website. 3 wave lines this way. So she just did a grid like this, you know, an angled grid, but she did 3 wave lines together, which turned out so darn cute. And this is not really big, so it's great. It's easy for a table mat, you know, like you just throw it on top of the table. You could put it, just hang it anywhere because it's not too big. Was it like 34 inches square, something like that? Of course, you could make many more of these and make a whole quilt of them, which would be super cute. I debated on this one doing it against black. You know, this was my big debate. There's one of the blocks. There's, you know, so I thought, oh, that would be so cute against black, or against, I have this other sort of slubby taupe, dark taupe, and I thought, oh, that would have been good. But in the end, I just went with a printed cream that comes with the Hallows Eve fabric line. So I used the same fabric line, but I love it. I'm so excited to be able to show that to you. And thank you, Jerry, for helping me out. My friends have done so much. It's just been incredible. All right, one more thing. When I showed the little, remember the little Paris kit from yesterday? If you missed yesterday, you need to go watch. But this is a little sewing kit from Bowen, which has some needles and pins, and it had little darling Paris scissors in it. I'll link you up down below again so you can see it. And it had this, what I call them a thread braid. You'll see that term used. This is a thread braid. I'll hold it up real close. It's also called a thread plait, P-L-A-I-T, a thread plait. This is lengths of thread, and they're woven together like this. Versus, you've seen the little like cardboard, like would be for a floss, and you get them in a little sewing kit, and they have, you know, 3 colors like black, white, you know, maybe red or something, and they just wrap them on this tiny little card. This is the same concept, but has more colors and more of the thread in the thread plait. One of our friends who lives in France, and I assume maybe she is French, I can't remember now whether I looked up her account, but she said on our Facebook group that these are very common in France for the sewing kits, and Bowen is a French company. I did do a little search there, not that easy to find, but I do have a link for you to Amazon if you want to buy just a thread plait, one of these. They're actually very hard to search because if you do thread braid, you get a lot of hair braid stuff. You know, and like the extensions and all that stuff, it's very hard. And then sometimes they're called rainbow, and you get like way too many other things that are rainbowed or ombre. And so, but I finally found one place that has the thread plaits. A couple companies make it, but I wanted to show you how you pull the thread out because it's really quite easy. So at the top here, do you see all of the threads are open? And so if I wanted to get a blue thread, I'm trying to, wait a second, I have to get there closer to my eyeballs. I have bifocals too, so those of you who have bifocals know. Okay, so here's a thread, right? So I've got a blue thread, and then basically I just pull it. There we go. That was it. You just pull it and it comes right out. So now I want to be sure I don't mess it up, so what I like to do is just smooth it afterwards. But I'll pull one other one from over here, another blue one. I think I got one. Right, so it's actually much easier than doing floss because this is only the length. You know, it's only a little bit longer than what this is. So when I pull it like this, whoops, I dropped it. Okay, so when I'm pulling it, see it's ruching up just a little bit like this, and then just drops and releases. So there's the thread. I would not say this is a wonderful quality thread, but this is a sewing like emergency kit thread, so it'll do. All right, my friend. All the links below. Do your tidy up today. I love you. Mwah. See you online.